Hello, editor Igelknytt here. The smartest person in these videos because I have the ability to both predict the future and is writing my messages, which gives me a lot of time to think what I will say. I have come to give a message. No, not for subscribers or the dumb graph thing. But instead to try and prevent crisis, because recording Igelknytt can be a massive bully at times. A difference between small myths and big myths is that small myths know a lot less on mythery than the big myths and typically make a lot more mistakes with a more cringe story and behavior, which means as a small myth you can be myth-shamed. This is in the non-existent terms and conditions of signing up as a myth. To be myth-shamed. I didn't know this when I signed up as a myth because I was a little idiot who only looked at the grand prize. To be interviewed by a YouTuber. Thank you for listening to my words to help prevent consequence for letting my recording spirit mouth run free. In talking to you, small myths.
I've explained this in episode 7. Mythery is similar to 8th grader syndrome. And 8th grader syndrome is basically when you put on a mask and pretend you're somebody cool. To try and, I don't know, impress people. However, there are some myths that aren't really that 8th grader syndrome compared to others who are massively 8th grader syndrome, and it all depends on how their myth is structured out to be. This isn't plot related, I'm just saying this. The internet is a place where you can put on a mask and pretend you're somebody else. If you're an anxious introvert who has lots of autism, be a troll. If you're a 24-year-old adult male named Kyle on the internet who wants to, I don't know, play a prank on somebody or something, dress up as a little girl and go around being a little slut. You keep him company. I'm gonna finish my talk. I'm not reading your stuff because that's the thing I realized is really annoying when editing these videos. Anyhow, so this is why I have decided to put on a mask. I am no longer Igelknytt. I am Benny, everybody's favorite nerd. You can tell I'm a nerd because of the sweater vest. Sweater vests are a sign of intelligence. The glasses were just for fashion. Only an idiot would think of a nerd as a nerd as long as they had glasses. Glasses aren't a symbol of intelligence, they're a symbol of poor eyesight. And a lot of pain when wearing a mask.
So that is why I'm gonna speak in this voice from now on and be really boastful. Wow! You're kinda a plague doctor. Well, joke's on you. I'm Benny. I know more science than you do. I nailed my class, top of the class, because I don't have that many friends to do other stuff with, so I just study. It's like cheating. I don't know anything about paranormal activity in video games. This isn't really even considered paranormal activity, it's just people with 8th grader syndrome. But there is one thing I know, and that is when it comes to rocket science. You don't need that much fuel to go to space, to be honest. You actually take advantage of the scientific magnetism of gravity to cast a little bit of a slingshot loop around the moon and other planets. It's like what they did in Subnautica. Oh, shut it, diddle kid. I've been there multiple times. To be honest, I'm not gonna really be here for that long, despite you inviting me here. Oh, you can't break it with your hands. Well, joke's on you, I have the full-out nerd rage perk, as if it was useful or anything. I can break this wall down easy peasy. Hi, my game is laggy, but that's quite explanatory, to be honest. It goes around with the whole scientific science ability with the whole thing when it comes to science. Because when it comes to science, you can do a bunch of scientifical things. Now, that is why the internet was invented, to learn more science. Now, you may be thinking, aren't you making fun of nerd culture? No, I am making fun of smart, boastful people culture. That is exactly what I'm doing. I don't have any time for nerdy stuff such as, I don't know, waifus and Dragon Ball Z, as well as a bit of course, World of Warcraft, which I only play a tiny bit, like, say, 7-8 hours a day. I mean, there's 24 hours in a day, so it's not really that much. I spent the rest of my time studying, because I have nothing better to do. And speaking of how nothing better to do has ability to Beth, not better to do, these people have nothing better to do, which means I have nothing better to do. So I'm gonna do something else. I suppose I've been a little bit late to this meeting, which is explained by all these stools and tables being flipped over. But it's been a while, so I went to the RM8 to check out for any game links. When, because of the whole revolution of the admins, the game links are more common to appear right now. And one person posted a game, and it's called I don't really know that much of but there is one thing that I know, and that is that this guy is kind of 8th grader syndrome, yet kind of not really 8th grader syndrome. In myth culture, there are two sides, like an RGB slider thing to choose the color of your hair in Gacha Life. There's a slider, when it comes to making a new myth, there's a slider. You can either slide it to maximum on a quiet and dramatic and serious basis, which basically means you have 8th grader syndrome. And there's the other slider, where you just go crazy on the art, speak in full capital letters, and act like mitochondrion.
No, there is one thing that I can respect. Ouch. And that is I forgot what to respect him for. Zaha! Haha! Why are you being so mean to me?
Who is actually the powerhouse of the cell, and that kind of technically makes you really stupid. Or by not stupid in an insult way, but stupid in a low IQ way, unlike me, who's the smartest person on Earth. You can tell because I have nothing better to do. I was born with no personality, and I don't know what fun is. And basically, that slider, you can choose to either be really dramatic and annoying, or you can be really annoying and dramatic and annoying, but you can also choose to be in the middle. This doesn't really have anything to do with the whole plot thing. I just feel like this is a thing I should say. This place is annoying and I don't like it. This is a place called Mandel's Groceries. I'm not too sure what it is, but he said he found some old photos in capital letters and 3 dots at the end, which shows that this guy is literally a massive 8th grader syndrome person like me, who's really smart. I type in no capital letters to show that I'm an idiot, which makes me kinda smart, to be honest. This person's called James Mandel, as words are free to be able to be talked. There are always the consequences that come with those things. And for starters, I'll be thought of as a cyberbully, but it's not like any of those social justice losers watching my videos. I'm gonna spend this entire video picking on myths as a person who's stereotypically picked on. This first picture shows James Mandel trying to impress his girlfriend. No, it's his girlfriend, you idiot! No! You don't have to correct your spelling mistakes! This features James Mandel in either his first band performance, blues style, or like, I don't know, ska style, or he's taking part in a robbery. Yeah, he'd have to be taking part in a robbery because that's interesting backstory. This picture shows James Mandel working as either it's a doctor, or it's more of like a ramen chef. But there is no way this guy could have been a ramen chef, because I'm a better ramen chef than he is. This is a picture of him with his hands behind his back. He seems like the hand behind his back type of person, as well as the not really that straight back. Jesus Christ, why do I look like I'm going through an art gallery? This is a back shot of him working on the ramen shop, but I see no camera behind him. That's kind of stupid. Picking on things is my boyfriend. This is the facility. I don't really know much about facilities, but it's put in space, and this means it's science fiction, which is my favorite style of movie. Made by a person called Silly Knox. And you can tell he's one of those loud myths because he has bricks on the floor. And he has the facility name typed in full capital letters. There's not really much I know about spaceships or anything, but there's one thing I know is that you can go Star Trekking across the universe. Ah yes, I remember this. Everyone's favorite, highly reactive science ball that kicks you from the game and curses at you in cartoon language. There's not really much of an explanation to why it kicked me, because mostly it would have disintegrated me scientifically. Well, that was quite the short explanation, but I mean, it kind of makes sense, to be honest. Also, it's kind of stupid. However, there is one thing I know, and that is that I've detailedly explained the differences between the quiet and the loud myths. Just like how I normally explain it in episode 7 if I wasn't so tired. And I would have added curse words there if it wasn't for my nerd impression. I mean, boastful smart person impression. Don't get me wrong or anything, both of them are equally stupid.
Oh gee, I swear to God this will have consequences.
And now for my final and most important part of this whole explanation, which isn't really an explanation, to be honest. It's not really that important to the plot, I'm just explaining it because I have to. If you want to succeed as a myth, you have to make your games like this guy does it. It's amazing. Behold! Pinkie Pie's Cupcake Party from my favorite anime, Ponies of My Little. We got our main characters, Horse in a Jar, Other Horse in a Jar, and a Purple Ogre. My head disappeared. I wanted to be a Purple Ogre, but my head disappeared. So I'm gonna go to the party dressed as my favorite character, Guy with an Invisible Head. Gee, this place is really well built. I like the composition, as if I know what that word means. You got the 3 greatest ice cream flavors to ever exist. Diabetes plus healthy, gay edition, pear-flavored ice cream cupcake, and this thing. I don't know what this thing is. Ah, just what I remembered. This is not an ordinary cupcake party. This is a bloody massacre version of the cupcake party. The secret best part. It takes to the best part of the scary part of the best game. Oh no! Pink horse in a jar with wings. What did they do to you? Good thing you're not really getting that hanged. You're just flying from the floor. Can I ride you? Oh, and there's your reflection. Crying in the mirror. Because you failed to make it happy. That's why you're flying slightly, because you failed to make your reflection happy. That's why you're a horse in a jar. And me, I'm Guy with Invisible Head. I'm Benny. Everybody loves Benny. I believe this is the worst part. Yep, just as I expected. The scariest thing to ever exist. Why'd you have a nail screw spring on your back? You're also flying slightly from the sky. Is this a flying slightly from the sky party? Either way, it's really scary. And oh, here we have the culprit. You went and took all the others' back leg stickers and you used them to combine your abilities, because those back leg stickers like explain your job or whatever. You gotta combine all of those things to become the ultimate version of yourself. The legendary, not horse in a jar, but instead horse in a can. Da da da. What does this button do? Ah, sick. I'm moonwalking. Check it out, guys. I'm moonwalking. I'm moonwalking to the point where I don't go backwards. Anyways, this place was kind of sad, to be honest. Oh, hey, look. There's Purple Imp's ogre thing over there, and he's waving at me. Hello. I can't wave back to you because I've been stuck in a permanent running position. Anyways, I've had enough of this sad part. Time to go back to the happy part instead. What do these rooms contain, though? Darkness. Even more darkness. And no evil horse taking the other sticker things. See, this is a good myth game. The equal combination of serious and crazy to make the perfect version. To simulate your happiness as a brony, while also telling a sad story about how Pink Horse in a Jar took every other horse in a jar sticker thing. Anyhows, I hope this video doesn't have as much consequence as I estimated to. And to be honest, most of my estimations are wrong. But either way, because of this sweater vest, I'm a literal genius, to be honest. And that was that for whatever I just made.